How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today I sit down with Conor Kenny and go through what he's seeing in the market, why BlackRock has done something unimaginable, according to him, something that's very interesting, and what he is buying here today, what he thinks about the market, where we're going, and all that kind of information. I'm going to leave links to him underneath the video. Also, if you want to trade cryptocurrency, you can trade underneath the video on Margex. They actually just told me that they are increasing the length of time that they're doing this hamster airdrop. They're actually going to add a couple weeks onto this so that people can get even more rewards. And I also got news from CoinW that they have a new ton airdrop. So you can get up to 150 ton, which is the Telegram token, which has been insane recently. So if you don't want to buy a token that's up a huge percentage, but you want access to it, right? You want to be able to take advantage if it continues running up, you can try out the link underneath the video and you can start trading here today. All right, Conor, thanks so much for coming back on the channel.
No problem, bro. Sorry about the camera. I'm having a little bit of camera trouble these days. You know, bear market's hit.
Yeah, yeah. You had to sell your camera to buy the dip, or maybe just sell it to pay for food. I get it. Let's start here. Yesterday, you made a video saying that BlackRock just did the unimaginable. Good title. What's happening in that video?
Yeah, so interesting. So BlackRock are doing like what they're doing, right, is completely unexpected for all of us from years ago. That was my point, right? So years ago, let's say 1 year ago, 2 years ago, before we had the ETF, right? We were like, surely institutional companies are buying, but we don't know who it is. We got no idea what's going on. Then we got the ETFs that were launched. And basically, BlackRock are not only buying, right? One thing that annoys me about like Twitter and YouTube and stuff is we always refer to it as buying, but they're actually, they probably are buying on the back end, but we're more referring to people buying through them, right? So technically they're buying the Bitcoin, but retail or other institutions are buying through them. But what they have actually started to do, which wasn't new news, it's something that we know, but what they've started to do is actually buy their ETF in their other funds. So they're buying their own Bitcoin ETF from their other funds, which I would argue kind of proves to us, going against basically the argument of BlackRock coming in and destroying Bitcoin, I actually think that that kind of proves that they do think the price is going to go up. One of the arguments for or against BlackRock is the fact that they don't really care whether the price goes up for the ETF, right? Because price goes up, price goes down, they get their fees, and the fees are incredible, right? That's what they're here for. So it really doesn't make any difference for them. If the price goes down, they're still making a ton of fees, buying or selling. They're making fees, right? But my argument is that if they're now buying their own Bitcoin ETF within their other funds aren't necessarily being marketed as Bitcoin or crypto funds. They're just their funds that they want to go up. So it's within their benefit, significant benefit, that they only choose funds that go up, right? So they're actually putting their money where their mouth is and buying their own fund. And I think that that is completely, we would never imagine someone the size or an entity the size of BlackRock doing something like that, like just a year ago. Do you know what I mean? We had rumors of the ETF a year ago, but just a year ago, we couldn't even imagine something as bullish as that. And all the while, people are like, oh, Germany's selling some Bitcoin and Mt. Gox are going to sell some Bitcoin. But it makes no difference. I actually just spoke about this. I think it's $18 billion BlackRock has under management right now. Mt. Gox is the biggest doom and gloom we have that any bear can pull out. And they're like, yeah, but Mt. Gox is going to destroy everything. It's 4 billion. There's 4 billion, which is no laughable amount of money. It's a huge amount of money. If I took 4 billion, transferred it to Bitcoin, and then pressed market sell, of course, that would cause a problem. But that's just not what's happening. You know what I mean? It's just not at all what's happening, which is what pushed me to buy Solana, buy Ethereum, buy Bitcoin, all in the spot market and on the leverage market when we had that big push downwards. What was it, like a week ago, 5 days ago, whatever it was, right? That big scary day that we had. I'm just so sure that this is manipulation plus fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I'm not one to call every piece of news that's negative FUD. I know that's one thing. It's not so much a big thing this time around, but in the last bull market, maybe because that bull market then was more retail driven. We're not really in the retail vibe yet. But to blame every bad piece of news on FUD is just nonsense, right? It is like the Germany selling did push the price down, but nowhere near to the point of what people expected. So it's all just overblown. Like it's way overblown. Even if America starts selling, you know, their hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin, whatever it is, even if it does happen, so far we have already proved in just BlackRock's ETF that we have the appetite to sustain that sort of selling, right? Of course, if that selling happens in one market sell, it was going to be a big problem. But the market sell, which wouldn't happen if it did happen, we would have that massive dip. And everyone like me and you know, if I see Bitcoin at 40K in a wick, believe you me, I'm buying it. Like as much as I possibly can. Just like I did when Bitcoin was 15K, just like I did, which I wasn't right to do when Bitcoin was 40K after the high, right? At 69K, I started buying Bitcoin again at 40K. I wasn't right then, but turns out I was right now when we are in massive amounts of FUD. So I think there's enough institutions, there's enough people like us, and there are enough just retail right now that would buy that dip. So that was the basis of the whole video.
Spitting facts. I think one thing that I've just got to say, anyone that says that BlackRock doesn't care if the price goes up or down, I think they're crazy, because they care about making money just as much as we do. And how do you make money with an ETF? You either get more AUM or the price of the underlying asset go up. And if Bitcoin's price goes up, they get more AUM because people will be interested in it because it's going up. And they'll also, they'll just have more in AUM in dollar terms. So they'll make more money from fees. Like that'd be a crazy statement to me.
I think retail as a whole, and I'm not talking about the majority of people who watch our channels, but retail as a whole don't understand what we mean when we say a long-term investment, right? Mm-hmm. They just don't fundamentally get that. I mean 5 to 10 years. BlackRock means a hell of a lot longer than that, right? Mm-hmm. So I started buying Bitcoin in 2017. I don't think I've sold really any. The only real big Bitcoin I've sold is my miners, right? I took all of it. Like I have about 10% left, but that was how I took profits from the recent push that we had. But that's my long term, right? That's already what, 7 years, 8 years, whatever it is now. And that's long term. So the ETF has been around for 6 months, right? And we've gone down 25%. And people are like, yeah, see, BlackRock has ruined everything. They want the price to go to zero. And it's just like, obviously that's not the case.
What about for the people that say, well, BlackRock's buying, everyone talks about how much the ETFs are buying, and there's all this good news coming out, but it doesn't matter because the price is going down day after day. I get that comment a lot whenever we're, you know, sideways for a while. What do you say to those people?
I say, go on the Bitcoin chart, right? Just open up the Bitcoin chart, get your ruler, put it to where the high was, drag it from the high to where we are right now, and you will see 34 days since the last time we were at $72,000. It's been 34 days. Like I want to be someone who reads my comments because I want to engage with my community. I want to talk with my community. I want to be there, right? But when I see comments like that, I'm like, guys, I don't understand. Do these people just sit, like they wait and they're like, Bitcoin's going up, I'm so angry. And then they wait until it's 72. Oh, guys, it's 65,000. See, I told you it was going to crash. Like, is that what they're doing? And then coming onto our videos and like angrily commenting, see, I told you it was going to go to zero. I'm like, but you were saying that when it was 15K. Like everyone was saying that when I was buying Solana at whatever it was, 20 bucks. Like, but you waited until Solana went from 200 to 150 to then say, see, I told you. It doesn't make any sense. Like if you're watching this, guys, wherever my camera is, it's there. Don't be that guy. Just don't do that. Like, don't do that. Like, don't wait until there's a pullback to say there's going to be a pullback, right? Because it's just nonsense.
I think I've said this before, but we need merch like always be an idiot, like always do the opposite of what people say. But moving maybe into a more positive thinking here. Obviously, you said that you bought Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin on the latest dip. I noticed that those are all large caps. Obviously, small caps have fallen a lot more, like within crypto, a lot of small meme coins or small AI coins. Gaming cryptos, launch pads, they've fallen down 70, 80%. Are you touching those, or are you just buying big caps right now because the market's uncertain?
No, dollar cost averaging small amounts into these projects, I still think is a great shout. I'm still doing it. It's less now because the way I see it is It's like a gold rush. Like basically, you don't need to really catch the falling knife, which everyone gets angry at me when it comes to the small caps, right? Because it really doesn't matter if, for example, Casper. Let's take it. No, Casper's a bad example because it's up. One of the other ones, you know, the Arbitrums, the Optimisms. What do I have? It Jasmines, any of these, right? The smaller caps ones, even smaller than that. You don't need to catch them. Like, let's say they're at 1 billion or 1 million or 5 million or whatever. It doesn't really matter for them if you catch it at, you know, if it was at a 20 million and then it went down to a 10 million and now you think it's the bottom, but it might not be, but it could still go to 1 million, right? So in my opinion, when we're back in the bull state, I would rather then gamble on these sorts of coins, let them go up substantially, then take my profits. But yeah, sure, I missed out on what could have been, if it was a 10x, it could have been a 20x if I bought it. But the how diverse my portfolio is, you catching the falling knives on the smaller caps is way more dangerous than catching the falling knife on Bitcoin, catching the falling knife on Ethereum, catching the falling knife on what Solana, Casper. I have been buying. I bought a little bit of Jasmine. I know I spoke to those, but yeah, that's the kind of mindset I have. It's just not worth the risk really when we're not in a bullish stance, because you may catch the meme coin that does 100x now, but that's going to be a 1 in 1,000 chance, whereas in the bull run it's a 1 in 100 chance, right? So it's like I'll just keep catching the falling knives of the things that I think, like in my head, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana are going up again. There's just like, I just don't care. They are going up again, just like I thought that in the bear market. I haven't changed the thesis. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, Bitcoin has a ton of support. You know, someone's going to buy it, right? If it falls down to 50, there will be buyers, but you don't know if a meme coin falls down 30%, if people are just going to give up on it, the team's going to stop posting about it.
Also, I am very exposed to the altcoin market still, right? So heaviest positions, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. And then I've got the other caps, the higher caps as well, but I'm very exposed as a whole to the altcoin market. Whereas, you know, we're down 50% on a lot of them, but if the altcoin season comes back and we get back to where we were, then we know those ones are going to survive, right? And I'm sure a lot of them are going to die. The ones in my portfolio are just going to go to zero. So I'm just going to wait. We're going to see the resurgence. Altcoin season will happen. Whether it happens this month, next year, 2 years, whatever, it's going to happen again. And then we'll see the ones bounce back. That's kind of how I'm seeing it.
Sure. And we talked about this in your video that's going on your channel, talking about some of the largest stocks, how well they performed. Like, you didn't have to be a genius a year ago. You could have just bought the largest companies in the world, Google, Amazon, and I've been NVIDIA at the time, but Tesla, those kinds of companies, and you would have done really well. Like, a lot of them are up 50 to 70%. But if you had gone dumpster diving, going for the small cap growth stocks, like, they have not returned like the largest companies. So I'm kind of curious if you think that's possible for the crypto market. We haven't really seen that in the past, where we just see the largest caps run away the entire cycle. But that's kind of what's happening right now in stocks. Like, we continue to see the indexes do well, the indices do well. But like, if you're not invested in the top 5 companies or the top 10 companies or in the indices, you're screwed. Do you see that happening in crypto, where like just Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin win?
It's entirely possible. I think that's exactly what happens. I think that's to a T what is going to happen. But the scale in which we have the bigger boys moving and the smallers not moving is so much larger, because we have I think there was 1,000 coins made in like one day on Solana the other day. So it's just like there's so much more to choose from. I always say my advice, my biggest advice to people who don't want to spend all day looking at these markets, right? Just buy the S&P 500 and buy Bitcoin. It's as like no one wants, like, I make videos every day about altcoins and all of this stuff. I outperform Bitcoin as a trader. I outperform Bitcoin, right? I do. That's the fact of it. So that's what I do. But I sit here with all of these screens every single day trying to pick the right things. If you just want to be someone who is exposed to the market, who has exceptional upside opportunity, right? The S&P 500 proved it time in, time out. It has a long-term track record. And then you take a lot of risk, but not in comparison to crypto's mass risk, and you buy Bitcoin. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it really is that simple. And if anyone had taken that advice from 2017, 2021, and right now, they would be almost in exactly the same position than if you had a diverse portfolio. You're more likely, from the experiments I've done on my channel, to be better off right now than if you had bought altcoins. Now, I don't believe that that will stay the same. When altcoin season comes back, we will go way better for the diverse portfolio. That's my portfolio, is diverse, right? I have 50% Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then the rest is altcoins. But that portfolio will outperform just Bitcoin, in my opinion, in the next 1 to 2 years, right? But you have to get in and get out. It's not about just holding these things forever, and that takes time in the market, right? You have to be paying attention to it. So the best possible thing is just buy some Bitcoin, buy some S&P 500 once a week, once a month, and just watch it grow. As it goes down, buy more.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to emotions too. Like, we talk about our emotions, like, and trying to be the opposite of them, do the opposite of them often. So if you can control those and be mindful of it, I think it definitely helps. Now, if you want to go find Conor's channel, I'll link it underneath the video. We did a video over on his channel as well. It might be posted before, it might be posted after this one, but be on the lookout for that. Also, there are links to Margex and CoinW underneath the video in case you want to go trade the market. You know, maybe you do want to put a little bit of leverage in the market, and then maybe shift your portfolio around. So you're like 100% Bitcoin, then you have a trading bag that's maybe 10% of your portfolio or something. I don't know. You can check that out underneath the video. Conor, thanks so much for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me. I'll see you later.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hope that wasn't